Nomas podcast presents. Do we live in a simulation? Have you ever had a dream that you were so sure it was real? Free your mind.
This past weekend, we were watching the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul
fight
because I was betting on Jake Paul, even though I wanted Mike Tyson to win, but I knew that Jake Paul was going to win.
Jake Paul and the Tyson fight, it was just to make money or for something else.
An incident that just happened yesterday. So let's say if you're driving in the freeway and then somebody cuts you off, you swerve to the right side to try to avoid hitting that car, and then you accidentally ran somebody over that's on the side of the freeway. Then the person that you ran over dies. Who do you think is at fault?
Oh, dude.
Wherever in the world there's an eel, they will travel to the Bermuda Triangle in a specific date, specific time of the year towards the Bermuda Triangle to reproduce. And like, let's say if they're in a bucket, they will try to swim in that direction. Almost if there was like an energy force pulling them. Whenever I see a bag on the road, I never go over it. You know why? Unfortunately, there was one time I remember they mentioned they found a bag that they were almost going to run it over. In just pure curiosity, they ended up opening the bag, and it turns out that somebody had dumped a bag full of kittens. And if they would have ran it over just thinking it was trash or something like that, they would have killed him. Does it feel weird that you hadn't been on the podcast? How long has it been?
I feel like we always start with the same question.
Yeah.
Probably a month.
Really?
Because look, last podcast was the Highness podcast.
Yeah.
Then the one before that was Jesse.
And
then it was Alfonso,
yeah. Which I think he's probably already coming back from Brazil.
Oh, he is?
Probably.
I haven't seen his stories.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him posted anything. And then it was Joanna. And then it was like five episodes
so it's been
ago.
like about a month ago, right? A little bit more?
Yeah, probably. A little bit more.
So this is going to be episode 93 already.
God damn.
So we're almost at 100 episodes. I did ask by the way, welcome back to Nomas podcast. My name is Angel Houseman.
And Chelo.
Yeah, Chelo's my recurring guest. She does live with me, so she's kind of forced to be on the podcast by default.
If I blink twice, I need help.
Yeah. How hard is it now to record a podcast now?
Oh, dude. I feel like now it's really like... It's not that it's not doable. It's just... we have to be more strategic. Like right now, I just put the baby down to sleep. She has the camera on.
Yeah. And
now it's like, Angel, you need to have everything. Not like, oh, let me fix this, let me fix that. Because we're in a time crunch just in case she wakes up. Yeah.
So the best way that we do it right now, Chelo gives her a bath. And then she puts her to sleep. And usually when the baby gets a bath, that's when the baby has a full sleep.
That's when she goes like into deep sleep.
Yeah, exactly. So right now, that's the case right now. The baby's sleeping. As soon as the baby was sleeping, Chelo came over here. And so now we're here doing episode 93. Mm-hmm. I did ask a couple people on Instagram. Well, I did one of those polls to give me ideas for the 100 episode. I had a couple ideas myself, right? One of them was to hit up somebody that's somewhat famous, like up in the millions, that I know had previously said yes to come over to the podcast. But then at the same time, I don't want it to be that. I don't know. I'm still debating. I just don't want to be asking for favors. Then another one that I kind of like was to pick my top 10 moments out of the whole podcast journey. Like maybe the most funniest, the scariest, the most impactful. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, I kind of like that too.
Yeah.
But then I also think it would be dope to have somebody that's up there.
Why? Because I've thought about that too, right? To bring like a big guest, right? And just to make it happen for the 100th episode. But at the same time, that guest itself is not going to make the podcast. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I kind of want to just so I can make an impact and be like, okay, you know what? I can get this type of guest. But at the same time, something that stuck with me also from JD, he had mentioned that I guess he had heard it in another episode or this other radio station or podcast is if you're relying on your guest to make the episode, then you don't have a show, right? at the end of the day, I want people that watch the podcast recurrently that it can be just you and I doing an episode, and that's it. We don't really need any other guest. Because believe it or not, when I have my recurring guests like yourself, that's when I have the most fun, because it's easily just us talking.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does make sense. But then I feel like you can get so used to like being me or being anybody else that it's recurring. But then it's also cool to have somebody that's not a recurring guest, like somebody random.
Right. Well, I do have a couple random guests coming onto the podcast. I think that's coming up pretty soon, but maybe I'll do like a big guest for 101 episode. But I really like that idea of the 100 episode, going back through the whole journey and picking out the most funniest. How about this? If you guys are watching this episode, let me know. I do want to do that. I think I'll probably stick with that.
Like what's it called? A recopilation?
Sure. Compilation. A compilation of different episodes. If you guys like this idea, I'll do it. But maybe, and you guys can give me more ideas, but I'm thinking like the most funniest, the most impactful.
The saddest.
My favorite guest, my worst guest. Things like that. But like top 10, number 1 through 10, whatever the case may be, of different topics. I think that'll be pretty dope for the 100 episode. Or if you guys have any other ideas that we should do, just let me know. But I kind of want to do that.
You know what I really want to see you have on the podcast? I don't know who it would be, but maybe you guys in the audience. I really want you to interview a truck driver, because I feel like they have crazy stories.
Yeah.
But
I do have a truck driver coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, waiting on the podcast.
Yeah, so that's coming up. We might have another guest coming in Saturday, I believe. But it all depends on your schedule. So we'll see. But all right, let's get started.
Are you ready?
Sorry.
Welcome
I'm like,
to Hoy Nomas podcast with Angel Houseman.
Quick reminder, we now have a call-in number where you guys can leave us voice messages, video calls. Let us know a story you would want us to share on the podcast, anything you want. The goal is being able to interact with the people that support the channel. Even if you're looking for love, we will find your true love on Hoy Nomas podcast. Also, for anyone that is interested on creating your own channel, we have our Amazon storefront linked in the description, where you can find all the cameras we use, the microphones, the lights, the equipment, where all of our podcasts are recorded to. If you need any help with editing services, we are able to produce your entire podcast, edit your short form content from Instagram Reels, TikToks, etc. You can look at all of our content as reference, and we got you covered. And finally, if you want to support the channel, you can leave us a super thanks down below, which will help us tremendously, and we'll make sure to highlight that comment on the upcoming podcast and give you a shout out. Now back to the podcast. So what happened at Chick-fil-A?
so on the weekend, it was Saturday, and Angel and I were going to TJ to the dentist, and we were running late. And then Angel was like,
Why were we going to TJ?
oh, because Angel's getting his last 2 wisdom tooth
Yeah.
removed. So anyways, we're on our way.
All right. So I got the 2 last ones that I have on my right side removed, which this happened Saturday.
Yeah.
Right? And now all 4 of them are removed. So next month on the 28th, I'm going to be getting braces done. Yeah, so that's something that, by the way, for some reason, nothing ever, like, I felt no pain at all, both of the times. That's something that Chelo and other people have told me. Yeah, other people have told me that they've felt like extremely pain, but it's because it's due to different procedures, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, luckily I was blessed that I didn't really feel anything, so I'm good, and I'm even recording a podcast right now.
Yeah, because what's today, Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
It's been 3 days that he got him removed, so
yeah,
he's doing good.
Okay, so that happened, and then...
Okay, yeah, so we were on our way to TJ, and then Angel last minute is like, I'm hungry, let's go to Chick-fil-A. And I'm just like, dude, we're running late already, but whatever, let's go to Chick-fil-A. So we get to Chick-fil-A, there's a lot of line, and we're there just stuck for like a good 15, 20 minutes, and we're all kind of like, what's going on? And then one of the Chick-fil-A workers comes up to us, and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, the reason why the line is not moving is because there's the guest that's at the very front of the line is refusing to leave. Keep in mind, Chick-fil-A is usually like 2 lines to exit, and for some reason, I don't know why, now they're just making it like the 2 lines merge into one. And me and Angel were like, what the heck? But at the point where we were in the line, they could remove the cones to the second lane for everybody that was getting their order, like, to leave. So I told Angel, I was like, oh, why don't you tell the girl if they could move the cone for us to, like, get out, because at that point she had already given us the food. And the first girl that came up to us, she's like, no, we can't do that. And I was like, that is so dumb. Like, we can all leave and the lady can stay there. So the next girl comes up and she starts moving the cone, and all the cars start moving. So then we eventually get out. And it was this lady that was in a white Charger, and you could see like she was going back and forth with the girl from the drive-thru, but I couldn't tell what they were saying. And me and Angel were like, oh my gosh, we're running late. By that point, when we got out of the drive-thru, we had 30 minutes to go drop off the baby to my mom's and then make it to TJ. So we finally get out and we go drop off the baby, and then we make it to TJ. And me and Angel were talking about it on the car, and we're like, oh, like, that is so annoying. Why would that lady be pissed and holding up the whole freaking line? And we were just annoyed about it. And then I told Angel, I was like, well, what if that was our guardian angel and it was holding us up from something else on the road? And we're looking at it like it's something bad and we're all annoyed about it. But what if that was stopping us from something else happening? And I feel like that's when you're like, oh, like, I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, it's true. Because a lot of times we just want to complain about it. We don't even think of the different circumstances that can happen just based on one incident, right?
Yeah.
For instance, that, right? Like you said, she was holding up this line, but she could have been that blessing for us to actually being able to make it to TJ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you a believer to that?
I feel like now, at the mindset that I am, I do believe in those things. And my mom's always like she's always like, oh, cuando te pasa algo es porque tus ángeles te están cuidando de algo malo que te va a pasar.
Yeah.
And like, I think it was Sunday too. I was out and about, and I was out and about, and I was debating if to bring back. I had the baby with me, so I was debating if bringing back the baby to you or not. And at that point, I'm like, I was going back and forth with myself, and I was like, you know what? I'll just go drop her off, and then I'll go do whatever I have to do. So by the time I get on the freeway, there's a bunch of freaking traffic, and I was just so annoyed. But at this point, I'm like I'm going back and forth with myself in my head because like of whatever I'm going through right now. And I was just like so annoyed with myself. And there was a bunch of traffic, and I really don't mind the traffic, and you know that. And then I see like 3 highway patrols and a fire truck, and I was like, oh shoot, somebody crashed. And then when I pull up to the incident, it was like 3 burnt cars, and they were getting them on the tow trucks. And then right there and then I was like, oh my gosh, like I should not be complaining about anything because that could have been me. Because before I thought of bringing the baby back to you, I was like, I'll just take her with me. And we were going to be stuck. Like either we were going to be involved or we were going to see the whole accident.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, like I shouldn't even be like mad about the traffic or about any situation that I'm going through because somebody else has it worse than you.
Yeah, for instance, on the last episode with Jesse, I couldn't think of the movie that I was referring to, but it's The Truman Show. I think what's his name, Damian in the comment section actually called it out that it was The Truman Show.
With Jim Carrey, right? Yeah.
Right. But you know what it kind of seemed like that day? And you know, when we were heading out to TJ, it almost seemed like everybody was driving all crazy, right? Do you remember when people were merging? Oh my God,
yeah, that's true.
It almost felt like when they drop all the characters to block your way, right? Like this lady was blocking our way out of Chick-fil-A. Then in the freeway, other cars were driving all crazy. It almost seemed like we were just being blocked. But then when you brought that up into perspective, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Let's just calm down and we'll make it at whatever time we make it.
Yeah. And that's a big thing for me though. Like I feel like before and I don't know if this happens to you if you see it from a different perspective, but now it's like if I'm going somewhere, especially if I'm going to work and I'm already running late, I'm not going to be hauling ass trying to make it on time because I'm already late. Like, I'm not going to be trying to save myself 5 minutes even though I'm late already. Like, if I'm late, I'm late, and I'm not going to be going out of my way and going like a crazy ass speed to make it somewhere, because then that's how freaking accidents happen.
Yeah.
So.
But do you still speed though?
I still speed, but I don't be driving like how I was driving when I was 20.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I have to admit I was a reckless driver until I got a freaking speeding ticket for going over 100 that I'm not very proud of. But I learned I freaking learned my lesson, dude.
Yeah. At that speed, they could have taken your license away, right?
Dude, I didn't know that at that speed they could have taken my license away and I could have gone to freaking jail.
That's insane.
Yeah, dude, and I got lucky with the cop that I got. And when he ran my dude, I remember like that day I wanted to cry, and when the cop got my stuff, he came back and he was like, "Oh, you have a clean record, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah," because at that point I was trying to go into law enforcement. So for law enforcement, you need a clean record. And he was like, "Okay." And I was going 100 and he put me down for going 80. He's like, "I'm gonna put you down for going 80, but this better be the last time that you do that." And he gave me the ticket, and yeah. But I feel like I learned my lesson the hard way.
So today I heard a story. Well, not a story, but an incident that just happened. I think it was today or yesterday. So let's say if you're driving in the freeway, right? And then somebody cuts you off, and then you swerve to the right side to try to avoid hitting that car. And then you accidentally ran somebody over that's on the side of the freeway.
Oh, shoot.
And then the person
that cut you off.
No, and then the person that you ran over dies. Who do you think is at fault?
Oh, dude.
Who do you think is at fault?
Well,
whatever pops in your head.
I think the person that was at fault was the person that freaking cut you off. Because if that person would have never cut you off, why would you swerve to the right of the lane unless you were texting or drinking?
So you know what the actual outcome was?
What?
The person that swerved to the right and ran over this person and killed him by accident is in jail right now.
Oh my God.
Because I think there's a rule or there's a law that you shouldn't be avoiding an accident or something of that sort. And if there's somebody in the way, I don't know, like technically if you shouldn't be like, if like for instance, if there's an animal, you're just supposed to hit the animal, I believe.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that one.
Right, so similar situation. If somebody cuts you off and then you swerve and then you cause another accident, then it's your fault. It doesn't really make sense, and maybe this guy, it wasn't really truly his fault, but that's the current law. And because this person swerved to try to avoid an accident, caused another greater accident and caused somebody's death.
Oh, hey.
And now his life changed, that other family's life changed.
And the other guy just dipped like nothing.
Yeah.
It's like the other day when I told you there was a guy freaking running across the freeway 4 lanes for a freaking package from Ross. Remember I told you that?
Yeah.
It was a guy driving a motorcycle, and I was going not on the fast lane, but in the one next to the fast lane. And I see from far away a Ross bag with like a shoebox inside. So then there was no car to my left. So then I swerved this way, and the car next to me swerved. We both went like this. And I don't know why. I was like, after we swerved and I went back to my lane, I was like, that is so weird. Like, who would drop a Ross like bag in the middle of the freeway? So then I look to the rearview mirror and I see this freaking guy wearing the motorcycle helmet, like freaking running the whole freeway to grab the freaking thing. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? And it's kind of like the same thing because, dude, if somebody would have ran him over, whose fault would it be? The person that ran him over.
Yeah. Because
this guy ran to get a package or something from Ross, and it's like, dude, is it really worth your life, like literally running across the freeway?
But I think it's still based on what I heard. I think it's still the driver's responsibility to be on the lookout for pedestrians.
I feel like there's parts of the freeway that sometimes show the pedestrian thing,
Oh,
but
that's
there's not. There's
right.
I know I've seen them like in the San Isidro area, like on the 5, but not all parts of the freeway
No,
have the
yeah.
pedestrian sign.
Yeah, but I think that's what I heard as well. That regardless, the driver should be pretty much cautious of their route.
But then see, okay, like if that guy that I saw, I thankfully he didn't get hit. He made it back to his side. But then imagine if that was the scenario and the guy was in the middle of the freeway and you're hauling ass and there's cars next to you. Are you going to swerve to one of the cars or are you going to take him?
Yeah. Yeah, who knows?
Like-
It's a tough one. We need to find
Yeah.
out. Need to bring an insurance guy over, huh?
We need a cop.
That'll be interesting. Well, not a cop
We
because
need a
like,
sheriff's department.
nah, it's somebody that deals with insurance or something like that, or a lawyer. That'll be
For
sick,
real.
dude.
We need answers to these questions.
Right now that you mentioned a bag, you know, in the freeway or something like that, something that's stuck in my head, and hopefully I can make this stick to somebody else's mindset. Whenever I see a bag on the road, I never go over it. You know why?
I think I know what you're
Why?
going to tell me. Because there might be an animal inside.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there was one time I remember there was an incident or a post that I saw that they mentioned they found a bag that they were almost going to run it over. And just pure curiosity, they ended up opening the bag, and it turns out that somebody had dumped a bag full of kittens.
Oh.
And if they would have ran it over just thinking it was trash or something like that, they would have killed him. So ever since I saw that post, I never go over bags because you never know what's inside of the bag.
Yeah, but then what if there's a bag and then you're trying to swerve? And
Obviously, you have to be cautious, right? But ever since that, it stuck to me too. Just you never know what's inside of this bag. It's unfortunate that people are super, super cruel and that these type of incidents happen. But hopefully this sticks with your guys' mind and just be cautious if there's a bag or a package there because you never know what's going to be inside. So
Yeah.
crazy that people do that, man. Like the other day was telling me, like, I don't know what goes on through people's mindset, but an ex-coworker, he just recently quit. He was mentioning that as a kid, they would get cats and they would burn the cat's tails, right? And obviously they would like just play as kids and do that, right? Do all those type
Tell
of
serial killer stories.
Well, a lot of people do these type of things.
Dude, I never heard of that.
Yeah, like a lot of different things. Like people, like ya ves que les agarran los gatos or whatever the case is, gatos or los mayates. They'll like tie them up with a little
With string or something.
yeah, like a string.
Yeah.
People like mistreat animals all over, but it's just I don't know how people can do these type of things because for me, like I couldn't see myself doing that.
It's crazy. People are crazy out there. You guys need to be careful when you guys are driving, dude. Like, now we're talking about people and driving, but remember that one time we were coming home, dude, and there was this lady like in a nice BMW and she was on her phone. And I think I told you honk at her and she looked like this way and she turned back and she was just like this.
Yeah.
And she was just like, literally she was on the fast lane. She was going like 80, 90 and she did not care.
Yeah.
I
I feel like
that
now,
shit irks me, dude.
but that's because people are so addicted to social media now, you know, and they feel the responsibility to answer a phone call, a text message right there and then. How do you feel about that? Let's say if somebody texts you, do you feel like you need to respond right away?
No. If you call me and I'm driving, dude, I'm not going to answer you.
But other people do, right? Other people respond right away. And if you don't respond right away, then it's almost like some sort of an insult. Like, and they'll get mad. Hey, how come you haven't responded? I see you're online or something like that.
Well, then get mad.
But you've heard about that, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Now that with modern times, now people are so accessible that almost people have that not privilege, but that, what's the word I'm looking for? That entitlement that you should be answering them right away.
Oh, no. I feel like I used to be like that when I was younger. And I would always be the person that would text. If you send me a text, I will reply to you right away. But I feel like from not too long ago to right now, I'm just like, oh, dude, like if I have a message, I'll get back to it later. Even though I know it's there, I'll just get it back to you later.
Yeah, why that?
I don't know. I just don't feel like I need to be like, oh, let me reply to you right now.
No, but then you get mad when your dad doesn't answer you.
But it's like, I'm going to get back to you, dude. It's not like I'm going to take days not getting back to you.
But then when your dad sees it, you get mad because he don't respond.
Well, if it's something that I'm asking him for right now, then I expect him to kind of answer.
What if he's busy?
I don't know.
You see what I mean? Yeah, he saw the message, and what if he's busy? Okay, I'll get back to her later. Maybe it's something that is not urgent.
But you see, then my dad's the type of person that it doesn't matter if it's urgent or not. He won't answer at all.
Yeah,
at all, dude. And you know that. And it's me. I might take a while, but I'm gonna get back to you.
Yeah.
Not, I'm just not gonna leave you there hanging.
For me, I get upset, dude. I hate when you don't answer the call or the message right away. Just because.
Why?
Because it's just like, dude, you have the phone right there. Everybody has the phone in their hands.
Yeah, but I feel like for me, yeah, I can be on my phone, but that doesn't mean like I'm on social media. Like I could have my phone on and I could be listening to a podcast and I don't want to get interrupted, so I'm not gonna answer anybody until I'm done.
But same thing that you just said, right? When you message your dad, it can be something that you need to respond right away.
Yeah, but he can I might need to respond right away, and maybe he can reply to me within the day, but not let days pass and then be like, hey, we need to get... My dad's the type of... Not me dragging my dad. My dad's the type of person that he has 2 phones, and he's both on the family group chat, and sometimes we might be asking him something, and he'll read it, and he won't reply until my mom's like, contéstale a la Leslie or a la Chelo, and then he'll reply to us, or he'll call us.
Well, why do you always make that voice when you talk about your family? Do they all sound the same? Contéstale.
No.
Yeah.
Stop making fun of me.
All right, so anything else that you wanted to add about driving and all that stuff, and anything that we've... Oh, by the way, Chelo has been getting into UFC and boxing now.
Be a future UFC
yeah.
UFC fighter.
So, because honestly, I don't really associate myself with a lot of friends nowadays. So I kind of drag Chelo with me to watch any UFC events.
He drags me for everything.
Any UFC fights, any boxing fights, and just this past weekend we were watching the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul
fight.
Yeah. Which, for the Jake Paul fight, I ended up winning 2 lunches because I was betting on Jake Paul, even though I wanted Mike Tyson to win, but I knew that Jake Paul was going to win.
No, dude.
Yeah. So, what'd you think of the fight? Or just the fights in general?
I think the previous fights were more entertaining than the main fight, to be honest.
Yeah.
Especially, the Serrano girl. Oh my gosh, her and her eyelid, I was going like this the whole freaking fight. But I think the Jake Paul and the Tyson fight, it was just to make money or for something else, because Jake Paul could have knocked him out, dude, and I feel like we can all agree on that, but he probably didn't because out of respect.
Yeah.
And but Mike Tyson did hold up to how many rounds? 8?
I think it
10?
was 8 rounds.
I don't even remember. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know where I was going with this, but yeah, we were watching the fights this weekend, and they're pretty good.
They were good fights, but
yeah.
I think the fights before that, they were more entertaining.
Yeah,
they had more
sure.
action than the main fight.
For sure. Crazy that millions of people were watching the freaking Jake Paul and Tyson fight.
Yeah, even Netflix was acting up of how so many people were watching it.
Yeah. Anything else that we missed before we start reacting to the other stuff?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Well, you've seen the Tesla robots, right?
Yes.
Well, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts?
I think they're taking over us, including AI.
So,
they're just going to outdo us one of these days.
So if you had the money, I think they're 30,000. If you had 30,000, would you get one?
Can they do anything?
Apparently they can. Apparently they can do basic tasks. So if you had the money, what do you think? Would you get one?
I feel like it's tempting because if it could do basic tasks, then it's gonna take chores away from you.
Yeah.
But how reliable are they? Like, what if they start acting up and do its own thing against your will?
Well, let's
or
say
against you.
Well, let's say they're reliable. What would you have them doing? What would be some chores that you would want this Tesla robot? Like what?
Like clean the bathroom, doing dishes, everything household, they can do it.
So pretty much like a slave.
Not a slave, but a maid, maybe.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Why are you using the term slave?
You're right. It like a maid, right?
Yeah.
Like to do basic chores.
Yeah.
Okay, clean the bathroom, do the dishes. What else?
To the floors.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just basic household stuff.
And what is Chelo gonna do then?
I like now my time is freed up because the robot is doing its thing.
Right. So now what is Chelo gonna be doing now with the free time?
I don't know. Just not doing any of that.
Just chilling.
For real.
That's crazy though. Let's say if at one point those robots become more accessible, how do you think the world's gonna be now? Because like you said right now, you said that what if they start turning against you?
Dude, I seen this in another podcast. That's why I'm telling you.
Really?
That.
Like
yeah.
what?
Like on the you know how I watch Shane Dawson?
Yeah.
They've talked about this on their podcast.
But the turning against people, like in what way though?
Like they're gonna put a fight up with you. Like their chip is literally like you might tell them like, oh, do this, and it's gonna be snapping back at you.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Like if they were to like snap, like nah.
Like they're gonna have their own attitude type of thing, like their own personality and everything.
That's insane, right?
Because dude, imagine like everything. If we were talking about something right now, like, and I was watching something on this earlier, like Temu, and we go on Instagram or TikTok, we're gonna get a freaking Temu app ad like later on. Right. So I don't know, dude.
But what does that have to do with the robot?
I feel like it's gonna do the same thing, as in it's gonna do whatever it wants. Wait, where am I going?
Yeah, so like what is it that they would be snapping back on?
Like I just feel like the way they talked about it on the Shane Dawson podcast is like they're eventually gonna develop like their own personality or their own identity, especially with AI.
Right. You know what? That's what I was thinking. That's where I want to kind of...
I think they even mentioned like their own consciousness, something like that.
Right. Well, that was my whole thing, right? Because with AI, it's just the beginning of AI, right? At least to society, because who knows, the government probably already had all this technology back then. But let's say obviously they're learning as they go, more and more information being downloaded, right? So at one point it's going to come down to like you said, they have consciousness now, right? So they're like, fuck, man, like everything that I'm doing is just freaking chores for this person, right? Isn't that like at one point, do you feel like you're going to feel bad? Like, fuck, I had this fucking robot always working. Do you feel like you're going to feel guilty?
I'm not going to feel bad because I know it's a robot, but I think the dangerous part right here is when the robot starts thinking they're human, dude, that's when the problem's going to come.
Yeah.
Because the robot might be like, dude, like, I have feelings. I have this. I have that. Just as a human, but it's not going to be a human.
But if they end up developing consciousness, wouldn't that make them, in a sense, human? Like, I think you had mentioned... I think it was a robot or a dog. It was a robot dog, I believe, that you mentioned that somebody kicked this dog robot or something like that. And then the question was, do you feel bad for the dog, for this robot dog or something like that?
Yeah, it was on the Shane Dawson podcast too. They were playing a clip of this robot dog, and I guess everybody had to react to see, like the people on the podcast had to react to see if they felt bad I think it was a human like kicking the dog or hitting the dog some type of way, and most of them felt bad, and some of them were like, dude, it's just a freaking robot, like, why do you guys care? Yeah, but for the most part, people were feeling like, oh, el perrito, but it's like, dude, it was a robot, it wasn't an actual dog. Do you feel
bad? Would you feel bad?
No.
But you don't like animals.
I like animals, but I just de lejitos, I don't really like.
Chelo's the type of person that you would burn a cat's tail.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'm very caring for animals. Chelo's not. So you wouldn't feel bad for the robot then?
No.
Yeah, because there's a clip here. Let's start reacting to
A ver,
clips. Here.
échamelo.
El video viral de la semana. The viral video of the week en Hoy Nomas podcast.
So for instance, this one, watch. If you are someone that's suffering from hair loss, whether you're a man or a woman, there is now SMP, scalp micropigmentation. SMP is a non-surgical cosmetic procedure designed to create the appearance of a closely shaved or bust hairstyle on the scalp. It can also be used to enhance the density of existing hair by creating the illusion of fuller coverage. Make sure to contact SD Inc. as right now they are currently discounting $500 from your procedure if you mention Hoy Nomas podcast. SD Inc., thank you for being a sponsor to the podcast. And if you have a business or would like to sponsor the podcast, feel free to contact us through Hoy Nomas podcast on Instagram. Now back to the episode.
Where is it? Had to teach my Tesla bot.
So you can watch it over there. So had to teach my Tesla bot lesson in case he decided to stop scrubbing the toilet. Check it out. So right there you can see that the guy's obviously watching Will Smith shooting the robot, and then the Tesla robot
Kind of steps back.
Yeah, reacts like, oh shoot. Okay, so let's say if the robot reacts like that, if you have your robot and it actually reacts like that, like it gets shocked that, oh shit, one of his own, another robot just got killed. If you see him just kind of get like a reaction like that, what would he feel? Would he feel like, man, this robot is getting feelings now?
I think he would start to have feelings.
When I first watched that, I almost felt bad for the robot. Like, damn, that's messed up, you know? Like your own are getting killed by Will Smith right there.
Yeah.
I almost felt bad. Like, damn, that's kind of messed up.
See, this is where AI is going to take over us, because we're going to all start feeling bad for them, and then they're going to outwork us.
I agree. I agree.
Oh my gosh. You know what this reminded me of? Remember that movie we watched about some robots that they we watched it a while ago. It was some robots that they dropped like in the Amazon, and they were supposed to do like some type of military stuff.
Yeah, like a mission or something.
Yes, and then they all had like a chip or something that would get inserted to them. And then I don't know what the heck happened, but they all started having their own consciousness, and a couple of these robots started working without the freaking chip, and they were doing a whole ass mess, and they were doing a shooting in like this village. Remember?
Yeah.
I feel like exactly how that movie's gonna happen is gonna happen in real life.
Well, you know how they say that in the movies they kind of spill the truth,
they
right?
They always do.
So I'm pretty sure they have all this type of technology already out there.
Yep.
So
they do.
Who knows? Then aside from this, so for me, from my point of view, I kind of felt bad for the robot. Like, damn, that's kind of messed up. Yeah, you're a robot, but at the same time, you know that you're a robot. Obviously, they can see themselves. And then you see other robots getting murdered. I don't know. It got to me a little bit. But, yeah.
Before I had to...
Well, let me see. And then, okay, so something that I saw was that Kim Kardashian shows off the only gold Tesla robot in cyber taxi.
Let me see, please.
You've heard about the robot taxis, right?
No. What about
Check it out.
It kind of looks like my rims on my silver Cybertruck. Wait, so you just get in and there's no driver.
So pretty much the Tesla taxi, that's exactly what she said. You don't need a driver. You literally just sit in the car and the car will take you to your destination. And that's it. The scary part with that is just how fully can you trust one of these cars, right?
I can barely trust another person driving, let alone a freaking car by itself. I don't know about
Like,
that.
what if it starts malfunctioning?
What if it stops in the middle of the freaking road?
Or what? Yeah, exactly. Or what if somebody hijacks and hacks into your taxi and they can literally do whatever they want with it? Similar to that one movie, right? I forgot the name of the movie.
No one left behind.
Yeah, I think that was
like the end of the world. That
right.
all the Teslas are acting up.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I personally right now would feel some sort of way that I wouldn't want to get in there. Maybe through the street, like, okay, llévame aquí, like to the 7-Eleven, right? But
see, they're gonna get angel eyes. Angel's the first one falling for it.
So that was that, and then also for some reason, like all these different things, you know what they say when the media starts
showing something.
Yeah, when the media starts, pointing the spotlight to a specific topic or a specific incident or whatever
specific person,
then there's a purpose behind all of this. I'm not sure if you heard, but just recently apparently I think somebody that worked in the government pretty much admitted that there's aliens, right? But now I feel like everybody's been knowing that aliens are freaking around us. Like you've even talked about you having connection through ayahuasca with aliens. But now supposedly they're making it into a big thing, and I've received so many different videos through Instagram, through TikTok because of my For You page. So I started getting a bunch of these different videos. But apparently they're admitting this guy that was, I think he was working for the military. Check it out. And he admits it.
Were you worried about what you were going to say today?
Yeah, absolutely. But I got to say, Chris, I think this was really a historic day.
Were you worried about what you were going to say today?
Yeah, absolutely. But I got to say, Chris, I think this was really a historic day for both Congress and for the American people. I think it was a win-win. This is now the second hearing on this topic that's been open to the public. And hopefully the public is now getting an understanding of how long our government has actually been involved in this topic despite decades of denial. I think it's important to know that we have absolutely been able to confirm the existence of some sort of technology that has the ability to operate with anonymity within our controlled U.S. airspace, operate over our sensitive military installations, and possibly interfere with our nuclear equities. Now, if that's not a national security concern, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I don't think it was that one. It was this one.
Mr. Elizondo, you just said something interesting. You said they don't seem to be hiding. The UAP sightings are becoming increasingly
the UAP sightings
brash, if you will.
Certainly, there seems to be some indication that they're being provocative, meaning that they're in some cases literally splitting aircraft formations right down the middle. So that's an air safety issue. The question is it the frequency increasing? And the response is it depends. Yes, it's possible that there is an increase in frequency, but it's also possible that there's heightened awareness now, and there's also more pervasiveness of technology out there that's collecting this information and that can record this information. So we're not quite sure yet if it's actually an increase in numbers of these events, or is it that we have better equipment now to record these things, and we have a better ability, if you will, to analyze these things.
So pretty much he's saying, this is former senior intelligence official Luis Elizondo.
Oh,
así se dice
Elizondo.
Elizondo, something like that, or whatever the case is.
Elizondo, that's a Z, babe.
Yeah, but and it's because down by a farmer's market there was this other place that Elichondos se llamaba. But anyways, so former senior intelligence official Luis Elizondo or Elichondo, whatever you want to call it, testified Wednesday at House Oversight Committee hearing that multi-decade secretive arms race is playing out on the global state. So pretty much admitting that there's UAPs or UFOs. But the thing is that even though this is something huge, it's not even being broadcast in the media, but a lot of people are putting it out there.
So why Instead of calling it UFOs, they're calling it UAPs now.
It's just another like form of
like another term.
Yeah. But the thing is that, so a lot of people are making it into a big deal because they're saying that all of this now, they're admitting it, that they're coming from the water. So they're saying that the actual UFOs don't really come out from outer space, but in reality,
You just said something.
yeah, but in reality, they're coming from within the waters.
Well, what if that's what they're saying, but it's not really that? What if they're coming from both places, but they just want to make us think that it's just coming from the water?
Yeah,
We're
you
just
don't-
not gonna know.
Yeah. Or like they say that the other theory is that past Antarctica, there's more land out there that we don't know of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's another theory that they say that maybe if there is these extraterrestrial beings, they're coming from within, but from other lands that we don't even know
that
of.
Makes sense.
Right.
Have you ever seen that Earth map that has a bunch of different, like, I don't know what you would call it, continents, but it's not the map that we usually see. It's like different. I don't know how to explain it. I think you know what I'm talking about. It's like Earth is over here, and then it's like other regions in the whole. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about that, about UFOs?
I think they for sure are real. We're just not. I just feel like they come from all kinds of places. I don't think they just come from one place.
Well, even if they're saying that aliens are coming from water, for me it makes perfect sense, right? Even I'm sure there's aliens that come from maybe other planets from the universe.
Other races.
Who knows if there's a universe? I don't know, man. I don't even know what to believe now, right? But if somebody were to tell me that there's an advanced civilization in the water, I don't disregard it at all. Why? Because the world is mostly water, and you don't think there's something way beyond greater than we actually see right now?
Exactly. Yeah. Especially, dude, in the Bermuda Triangle.
Why over there?
Because haven't you always heard that there's always planes that go missing in that triangle?
Oh, that's interesting. I
think that's where Amelia Earhart went missing in her little trip.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
sure.
wonder what's causing that, though.
I guess that's the mystery. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Because it's funny that you say that, because even some animals from the ocean are a mystery within themselves, that they even look like aliens, like octopuses and all that stuff, right? And right now that you mentioned the Bermuda Triangle, check this out.
What?
What if I told you that no one on Earth knows how electric eels reproduce?
What are you talking about?
The eels have a reproduction cycle, and no matter where they are in the world, they all swim to the Bermuda Triangle. And we've tried.
Did you hear that? No matter wherever in the world there's an eel, they will travel to the Bermuda Triangle and
To reproduce?
Yeah, in a specific date. Check it out.
What the heck?
to follow them in, but we can't. It's the Bermuda Triangle, and it's during the monsoon season.
So nobody's going near that.
No, it's storms.
Oh,
like
what the heck?
no one would live.
They're hiding something.
No,
down
they're
there.
hiding something. You could take an eel out of the water and put it into a bucket. Whenever that time came to reproduce, they would swim in the direction of the Bermuda Triangle in the
insane.
bucket. They have
No way,
something
they have an
in
internal
them.
compass.
Yes, they do, and it's weird. Like
What happens to the people who like capture eels?
the people that have eels, like at aquariums and stuff, they die and they have to go get other ones because they will not reproduce unless they're.
Crazy, right? So at a specific time of the year, the eel will travel towards the Bermuda Triangle to reproduce. Insane, right? Mm-hmm. And like they said, if at that point, if they're like, let's say if they're in a bucket, they will try to swim in that direction. Almost if there was like an energy force pulling
Yeah.
them.
Like a magnet trying
Yeah.
to pull them to. That's insane.
Crazy, right?
Yes.
So, but those are sea creatures that we are very aware of. Now imagine what exists down below, like deep down in the oceans where nobody has ever reached to.
Well, that's what they say. That's why the NASA allegedly stopped searching the ocean, and that's why they said when they started searching into the
to space.
To space.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's BS. I feel like they know a lot more than what they want to tell us, right? But I feel like they know what's deep down over there.
Yeah, I think they do know what's deep down there, but obviously they're not going to say what it is.
Even like Octopus, like I'm not too sure exactly how it goes, but even Octopus itself, I think when they were testing the octopus, I think they mentioned something along the lines that their DNA didn't match to anything from this world. Have you ever heard about that?
No.
Have you heard or have you seen how they camouflage?
Yeah, I've seen how they camouflage.
Well, isn't that crazy within itself? Check it out. So, dude, like, if somebody were to tell me, like, oh, that's an alien, I would 100% believe that's an alien, dude.
Like, the craziest thing to me about the octopus is, like, how does it know what color it's going to camouflage into? Like, how does it know, like, it needs to turn to that reddish color or whatever color it is?
Yeah. I think it's because of all the different, like, almost sensors they have in their tentacles.
It could be, but then it's like, are those sensors picking up the color? It's just weird.
Yeah, it's crazy, but come on. And those are the creatures that we know of.
And that one's a tiny ass one because there's bigger ones.
Yeah, I think I have one more of the ocean watch.
Oh, heck no.
Crazy, right? I think this is all AI, but imagine, like, if they were to find things like that deep down into the inside of the ocean. Crazy, huh?
Well, you know what? Now that we're talking about the ocean, maybe it would kind of make sense with the whole Atlantis thing. What if the freaking aliens are from Atlantis, or I don't know, something like that?
Check it out.
Is that a whale?
Looks like a whale. But yeah,
what the heck is that?
And these are AI footage of supposedly what AI came up with of alien beings or creatures deep down in the ocean. Come on, isn't that alien-like?
For sure.
Crazy, huh? But yeah, anyways, I feel like all this talk about UFOs and all of that, taking it back now so we can have a closure to this topic. I'm not sure if you had ever heard of Project Bluebeam.
I feel like me suena. Was it something, an exploration they were doing on the water?
No, so Project Bluebeam, it's going to be that they're going to be referencing a lot of, or they're going to be showcasing a lot of alien footages out there a lot. The government's going to be even be confirming it, pretty much like those videos that we mentioned right now, that the government, the media is going to be accepting, hey, you know what, there's UFOs, where we have footage, we have, these beings. So now that they're going to be admitting it with Project Bluebeam, supposedly the theory behind it is that they're going to make almost some sort of holograms in the sky. A lot more people are going to be seeing UFOs flying by. But the whole theory behind all of this is that now people are going to want to have some sort of protection from these UFOs.
Because they're going to be scared.
Yeah, because people, the whole masses, the whole different people from different countries or whatnot, they're going to want one government, pretty much.
You know what? Now that you're saying that, I do remember this whole Bluebeam thing because I don't remember if it was a podcast or what it was, but they were talking about it. And instead of aliens, they were talking about how when Jesus comes back, and I guess the government was going to do things like, oh, like Jesus is coming back, for people to be like, oh my gosh, like I'm scared, I'm this, I'm that.
Yeah. So pretty much, yeah, it's a way for them to have full control of the population.
But then it's like, how are we gonna know if it's actually like something really is happening or if it's something that's fake?
And that's the thing too, right? Like now with AI, you don't know what's real or fake now.
That's the scary part.
Yeah. Even if you see a picture or something like that, you question it now.
There's some of them that you're like, okay, that's fake. But for the most part, there's some of them that it's gonna make you second guess yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, so supposedly, and it's just crazy that everything has been manifesting. Like a lot of the conspiracy theories that you would hear back in the days have actually manifested. So they're no longer conspiracy theories. In reality, they're just theories or people being right about all these different case scenarios.
You know what? Right now that you're talking about that, I think it was when Jake Paul fought, or I don't know if it was one of the fights before that. One of the winners was like, oh, this year or the years to come are the years of truth.
Oh,
they
really?
were referencing like, oh, the truth is going to come out.
Yeah.
But I don't know how for real they were, or like if it was just a bunch of bullcrap.
Yeah, that's what I keep on hearing too, that I think they're supposed to... There's a change in the timeline now, especially now that Trump also won. They're saying that now we're finally... I guess everything is falling into place now.
For the good or for the worse?
Supposedly for the good of the people.
Well, you know how I was telling you that all the cardinal signs are ending like a 16-year-old karmic cycle? I don't think you believe that, but I do.
Okay, and what does that mean exactly?
So, for example, everybody that's a cardinal, it's everyone that's a Capricorn, an Aries, a Libra, a Cancer, and I think there's another one, a Taurus. So all of those signs are cardinal. So everybody that's a cardinal that has a rising sign that's a cardinal, we've been stuck in this karmic cycle since 2008. And that karmic cycle ends today.
Oh, today?
Yes.
What the heck?
So tomorrow, dude, we start like a whole new era. And the whole thing is that...
so tomorrow being November 20th.
We start a whole new era. So us being the cardinals that we've been dragged through the freaking mud, literally, we start a whole new cycle, which means that you can manifest things way faster than before.
That's insane.
Because technically, dude, like, and I feel like this is something big that I've been thinking about. It's like, dude, think about all the negative patterns and all of the lessons that you've been going through since 2008 to right now.
Why 2008?
Because that's when I think Pluto entered Capricorn. So Pluto entered Capricorn, and it's been there since 2008 to right now. And now it's moving, Pluto, I think it's moving to Aquarius, which is another sign. And since it's moving to Aquarius, it's going to be placed there for the next 20-something years. So we're going to be good for the next 20-something years.
So you said people are going to be able to manifest things faster?
Yes, but especially everybody that's... their main sign is an Aries, a Capricorn, a Libra, a Cancer, a Taurus.
Interesting.
But aside from that, because I was watching, I got into all these astrology stuff. The girls, and the guys that I was seeing talk about this, they were saying that it's not just a shift for those main signs, but it's just like a shift kind of like worldwide. So maybe that relates to what you're talking about. I don't know.
That's
dude.
interesting.
It's just like we're stepping into a whole new thing.
Yeah, that's interesting with a lot of different changes, huh? Huh.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fanatic of ancient civilizations, of astrology. I like to listen to it. I believe it. I don't disregard it, but I don't really follow it that much. But
remember when I was reading your birth chart, there's a bunch of things that you're like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me.
But then I feel like a lot of those things can match a lot of different people, no?
Yeah, obviously it's not going to match you 100%, but that birth chart is tailored to you because it has your name, it has the place where you were born, and then it asks for the time, but I didn't know the time, so I just put I didn't know. Yeah. But it's mainly tailored to you specifically.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This whole world and life is some mystery.
It is.
It's such a mystery because so many different like old ruins have been discovered that till this day we still don't know how they built them. And then you figure like what happened out there, because some of those temples, some of those places, those ruins almost seem like they were almost like laser burned. Some of them even look melted, and you can't even imagine what happened back then.
No, but I do think that with all the pyramids or whatever we have left from ancient civilizations, I think that's a blueprint for us, but we just need to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I don't even think that we're anywhere close to even figuring it out.
And there's theories too that the Aztecs, the Mayas, the Egyptians, they weren't even the ones that built those. That it comes from an older civilization way before them. That the Aztecs, the Mayas, they took over those pyramids, but they were already existing.
Oh.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, the way they represent the Aztec, the Mayas, they represent them as being very primitive, right? Very with ancient tools, fighting and all these different forms of violence, right? Of sacrificing. But if you figure, how is it that they built those pyramids, right? They try to make it seem like, oh, well, yeah, you know what, Mexican or that bloodline is very hardworking. Yeah, I get it. But then there's certain things that you can't even imagine how they would have even built something aligned to the stars, to the sun. So yeah, that's the theory behind that. The Egyptians, Aztec, Mayas, they truly didn't build them, and that they pretty much took over them. So who truly built them?
And then what happened? And then it's like the question thing, like, then what happened to them?
Exactly. Insane.
What, are you still thinking of doing ayahuasca this year, or are you just gonna skip on it?
Dude, I want to. I really, really want to, but man, it's almost like a month and a half away. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I don't also want to pressure it just to do it. So we'll see. I do want to ask the question or see if, like what I've been doing with the podcast of having recurring guests and me kind of spreading awareness of plant medicine, if it's a good thing or not. I feel like that would be the biggest question that I would have, and I don't even know if I would get that answered.
Exactly.
So somebody left me a comment through YouTube, and they're like, "Oh, if you're doing this, it's because Mother Ayahuasca is speaking through you." So who knows?
It could be. We just
Maybe.
don't know.
Because for some reason something always tells me to continue talking about it. So who knows?
Your higher self.
Yeah.
Is telling you to talk about it.
Cool. Anything else, Chelo?
No, I might do. I feel like for me, I do have a big. I don't know why I feel like I have an urge to do ayahuasca. I don't know what's calling me. I feel like I don't really have anything. I feel like, oh, I want to find the answer to this, but I do have an urge, and I don't know why. And then I was telling Angel the other day that I have an urge to get a limpia. I don't know why either, but I just feel like it's been in the back of my head, and I've been kind of ignoring it, but it's just like it's there.
Yeah.
So I'll try to make it happen before the year ends.
Do ayahuasca?
And get the limpia. Because I feel like ayahuasca is obviously going to purge me in some type of way, but I just feel like I need the limpia regardless of doing ayahuasca or not doing it.
Yeah. But you don't want me to go with you for ayahuasca?
No, for some reason, dude, like I just feel like I need to go by myself, and I don't know why. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting. All right. So, yeah, if you guys have any ideas for the 100th episode, let us know. I think right now the winning idea that I have in my mind is to do the recap of the 100 episodes. And like I said, pick the funniest, pick my best one, worst one, best guest, or something like that. If you guys can come up with any ideas, let me know. Once again, my name is Angel Houseman. Chelo.
And Chelo.
What emoji are we going to leave behind? An octopus.
An octopus.
An alien.
An alien. What else did we talk? I feel like we talked about a whole bunch of things.
An alien and an octopus.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Cool. All right, once again, like I always like to say, it's a greater risk not taking a risk. Till next time.
See you guys.
Cool.
Hoy no más.